Hi everybody, it's Christy with Zelpha Pearl, back for part 2 of our Sinclair Patterns Harper Cardigan Sew Along. So by now we have all of our pattern pieces cut out, our fabric is ready, our sewing machine or serger is threaded. We've got our clippies, which I keep my clippies in this cute little cup, Warriors pins. Sometimes I use clips, sometimes I don't, sometimes I just put the fabric together. I decided after a thought that today I would go ahead and clip them together and make it a little bit easier, since this is my first time making this pattern and we're doing a sew along. But so anyways, that's what we're going to do. And I want to show you really quick this little trick. For those of you that don't know how to store your patterns, I found these baggies. They're large. They're called jumbo. I mean, they're very big. At Walmart, where the other baggies are, where the quart and gallon, all that stuff. I think there's 10 of these in a bag, but they're by Hefty, but they're huge. So I just label them, like this one says Sinclair, Harper Pattern. I label them, I stick the pattern in there, get rid of all the excess air, zip it together, and then I just have them sitting on a shelf in my sewing room, in a bookshelf that I use to store my fabrics. What I would like to eventually do is put a hook inside my closet and put a hole, in all my patterns and hang them. Or a clip hanger would be good too. But anyways, it's a great way to store your patterns so you don't lose pieces, they don't get dirty, they don't get lost, because I'm cluttery. So this is a good way for me to stay organized and I can quickly figure out what it is, okay? That's just a quick little tip. Maybe you already knew that, but I think it's great. So, we've got our pattern ready. You want to go and pull up your pattern on the Sinclair, on your Acrobat reader. You can print it off if you want to. I choose not to print my patterns off. I print the pattern off so that I can trace it out. But as far as the tutorial and the how-to and the instructions, it's a lot of pages, it's a lot of ink. For me personally, I just don't do it. Everybody's different. Some people really like to do it, have it all nice and organized in a nice little binder. They just pull it open and there's the instructions, which I think is really great. But for me personally, because I don't like to waste, I don't like to use that much ink. So I just leave it on my computer. I pull my computer out, my laptop, when I'm ready to sew. I set it beside my serger, open it up to the tutorial part, and I just have it sitting there so I can just go step by step right there from my laptop. But the very first and most important thing you need to make sure, because every pattern is different, every company's different, and sometimes even in the same pattern it differs, is the seam allowance. Don't assume it's a quarter or a half inch or 3/8 inch, or don't assume, because I have assumed wrong, and that can be a costly mistake, especially if you're using a serger and it cuts off that extra material. You can't do over. So I learned the hard way. Read the instructions, don't guess. But for this particular pattern, the whole thing is done with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So every seam you make is going to be a 1/4 inch. The only time that you're going to change that is only if you are doing the duster length cardigan. If you're doing the duster length cardigan, there's no band around the bottom. So therefore you have to put a hem in it. And that hem is going to be a 1 inch seam allowance. But everywhere else, and for every other cardigan on this particular pattern, our seam allowance is only going to be a 1/4 inch, okay? So don't make the mistake I made and assume, because it never ends well. So we've got our pattern piece, we've got it ready to go, we've got out 2 pieces of our stabilizing tape. I've got mine right here. So the very first thing we're going to do is, because we're not doing the very first thing on the instructions is attaching the pockets. But I have chosen, because I've never done pockets, I have chosen not to do pockets on this particular cardigan. In the future, I would like to try it, but not yet, not while doing a video. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our cardigan, we're going to take one of our front pieces and our back piece, okay? Make sure that you've got it right sides together. So in most fabrics, you're going to be able to tell the difference. The sweater knit, it's hard to tell, but there is a little bit of difference. The back side's a little bit fuzzier. So we want to do our right sides together. We want to match up our edges on one of our front pieces and one of our back pieces at the top. Make sure you have the right, whoops, and I don't. Hold on. Yes, okay, so I was about to make a mistake, so there you go. So you're supposed to put the right sides together. So I had, let me show you what I did wrong. This is my right side, so this is a right side together with the right side together. Now, if I had sewn these together like this, here's the problem, okay? I would have had the armholes going two different directions, okay? So you got to make sure you grab the right pieces and put the right pieces together. So I'm going to double check. Let's see. I know this fabric, it's kind of hard to tell what's front and what's back. Okay, so I've switched them out. Okay, so right sides together. And see now, our armholes are both facing the same direction. So we got our right sides together, lay them flat, grab your stabilizing tape, we're going to attach it. Can y'all see that? Along the back side of the cardigan. So I'm going to put this along the back piece, not the front piece. I don't know that it makes much of a difference, honestly, but it's what the instructions say, so who am I to question it? So okay, so we got our pieces together and I'm just going to clip it. Oops. Okay. Okay. So we've got our edges matched up. So then you can go ahead and sew that on if you want, or what I like to do is go ahead and attach the other piece, do this exact same thing on the other side. So we're going to take our other front piece and do exactly the same thing, okay? So we're going to Put it right sides together, making sure our armholes are both facing the same direction. We're going to match up our pieces. We're going to grab our stabilizer. We're going to lay it along that back side of the cardigan. We're going to clip it, making sure all of our edges match up. Okay, so there you go. My serger will trim off the excess right there. So we've got both of our pieces. I'm gonna aim it this away so y'all can see. Now I have my serger. I don't know if y'all can see this, but I actually went through and marked my lines on my serger so I know where I'm going. Go ahead and cut that off. Okay. It was in my way. I'm not a fast sewer, so some people are, but I'm not. Plus, I'm not sure if it's just my serger, but this whole table will shake like crazy. If I go too fast. Now, for those that are wondering, I happen to not have yellow thread. So I've got kind of a hodgepodge mix of colors up here, but that's okay. I really wanted to make this. You're not going to be able to see the threads. See? So I'm okay with it not being yellow. I would have preferred for it to be yellow, but I didn't want to wait to order the serger thread, the stretchy thread and all that stuff. And honestly, I mean, I love mustard, but how often am I going to sew with mustard color? Is it enough to buy thread? So I decided just to use what I had. Okay. Just like that, we have our shoulders done. I always love that very first part because, I mean, immediately when you get the shoulders sewn together, you already feel like you've got a garment. You know, I mean, it feels like more than just, you know, pieces of fabric. So, yeah. Isn't that great? Okay. So now we're going to go to our instructions. And the next thing they're going to have us do is we're going to do our sleeves. And let's see. Now, I tell you what I didn't do.